Hi, and welcome back to day 3. We are now at the halfway point, and today it's all about A, authenticity. This word challenges how we think about pleasure, joy, and success. Because if you are not living a life that is true to your soul, then it doesn't matter how long your list of achievements is, or how much sensory pleasure you're able to indulge in. You'll still feel that something is missing at the end of the day. It's easy to lose yourself in the story of success that society has given, to get caught up by the waves of peer pressure or family expectation that's all around us. After all, we have been conditioned from a young age to buy into certain programs. Perhaps there was the idea that marriage would bring happiness, or that getting a prestigious job would ensure lifelong satisfaction. You may find that these narratives proved to be true, but more often than not, there's probably some inner conflict going on. Whatever story you have been told, it's part and parcel of societal programming. Humans are social creatures, and in order to belong, we often cut off parts of ourselves so as to fit in with these larger social narratives. We may conform by putting aside certain preferences or longings that are deemed unacceptable out of survival. This is because feeling cut off and isolated can feel like death. Unfortunately, there is a tendency to give up something precious in the process. You sacrifice your authenticity. And the more you hide your true self away, the worse you feel. What's worse, the fruitless pursuit of external approval will not satiate your deep soul's longing to express its full self. If you don't address this, what tends to happen is that you take on adaptation processes to help you cope with the repressed anger or the buried sadness that then manifests as depression and debilitating anxiety. These are examples of the outward symptoms when you are not living a life that is true to you. And here's another truth. It is extremely vulnerable to be yourself when you run the risk of rejection and maybe even ridicule. It therefore takes a lot of courage to be willing to put yourself out there. Not the self that's covered up with social masks. I'm talking about the real, raw you. Can you feel yourself contracting or cringing just by hearing what I'm saying? That's how real the threat of being fully ourselves can be. But here's the funny thing. The more authentic you become, the more you recognize and even magnetize your soul family, the real tribe or community that you belong to, where you feel at home and comfortable to be your full authentic self. And once you do so, you never need to feel lonely again. What's more, there's a warmth and peace that comes when you arrive at a place of radical honesty with yourself. Nobody can give it to you because it is already yours. The challenge is owning it. Imagine stepping out the door and taking your first steps to brave the wild, wide world. What will you discover? How will you pull through? This is where you can use authenticity as the inner compass that you have to guide and direct your thoughts and actions. The etymology of authenticity comes from ancient Greek, where authentikos refers to a person acting on its own authority. It's also related to the notion of authorship and carries with it the idea of becoming the author of your life. It means that you no longer stay in victim consciousness or linger in a state of learned helplessness. Instead, you take directorship of your own life. Now, because being authentic can bring up a lot of fear, your nervous system can go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. You therefore need to learn how to regulate yourself when under stress or pressure. Today's interviews are packed with helpful teachings to support you as you step up and out and take up space in your full authenticity. We have Naomi Love, who advocates for having a relationship with your womb because it is connected to your core essential self. She shares how the Holy Trinity blueprint of womb healing can provide a guiding map to help you expand into wholeness. Sasha Rose also shares how learning about your solar feminine by tapping into your Venus star point is a resource that you can lean on when you encounter friction or challenges with the outer world. There is permission here to follow your deepest heart and truth by resting on your innate feminine intelligence. Julie Ann sheds light on how, as a woman, you may have shut out your sensitivity. And yet, it's really a superpower that is a precious gift when you know how to embrace it without becoming drained and depleted. Learn what cutting-edge science has to teach you about your energetic field and how you can stay true to your truth and expand into your fullness. Lynn Fraser's expertise on developmental trauma is extremely helpful if you are looking for practical insights and tools that you can use when your nervous system is dysregulated. She shares her perspective on people-pleasing, catastrophic thinking, and that mean inner critic you may have. Then she takes us through practices you can do to bring yourself back into a state of calm and return to authentic self-expression. And because the feminine is relational, Leilani Manulu shares how you can show up and connect more authentically with the people in your life by looking at the situation from an organizational perspective. She talks about how you can discern your intuitive guidance from other voices and take up more space by owning your truth as an earth angel. We also have Baljit Rayat, who makes the link between making sovereign choices, severing toxic cords, setting up healthy boundaries, and your sexual power. If you are the least bit intrigued, you'll definitely want to check this interview out. And finally, we have Taria Ward, who gives an evocative reminder to all of us to return to authenticity by peeling off the performative masks you may have learned to put on due to expectations that others have had of you. The impact of coming home to your authentic self has deeper and wider implications than you may first realize. Let me summarize all the above in this one statement. If you've ever felt yourself shying away from inhabiting the fullness of who you are, yet you desire to bring into being all that you feel inside of you, then it's time to cultivate safe spaces, make clearer choices, to intentionally blossom more and more into your full potential so you can have more of what truly makes you happy. Today's sessions are chock full of amazing teachings and practices that you can return to again and again when you're in need of inspiration or support to courageously step forth and shine your authentic light. So once again, I invite you to give yourself this gift, to purchase lifetime access so you can have a backpack full of tools and helpful equipment as you embark on your heroine's journey, where you will finally arrive and come home to your deep, full self. Enjoy day 3, authenticity.